Welcome, everyone, to the Peace, Love, Joy, and Bliss Transformation Show. I am your host, Donna Whittington, and back by popular demand, I've got Energy Intuitive Joy Baker. And of course, we love having Joy on the show. So I'm very excited to bring her back up. We are going to answer your questions. We are going to be talking about energy, and we are going to be talking about how to clear energy. And then, of course, Joy is going to assist us with that. But before we get started, before I bring Joy on to the show, let me just give you a little bit background on Joy, especially if you're new to the show and you haven't seen her before. So just a little bit about Joy. Joy, during her 25 years of training horses, she found that she had the ability to easily connect with horses that had been abused or were labeled mean by others. However, once she realized that any further career options in the horse industry were limited, she made a life-altering decision and chose to focus all her time and efforts into her personal growth. She walked away from her life with horses over 20 years ago and began her journey of self-discovery and inner healing. It was during that time that she realized her ease at connecting with and understanding abused horses was a gift that she could support and inspire mankind. After years of soul searching and doing her inner work, Joy has developed the ability to read the emotional energies we carry within us, and now offers remote energy scans and clearings. Simply by reading energy and the pictures of a person, disempowering core beliefs and emotions are identified and cleared from the energy field and chakras. So, as you can see, from that type of work, Joy has had some amazing success stories. And so we'll talk about some of those stories, but I also want to give you a chance to see her clearings and scans, firsthand. So we'll do that as well. But let me bring Joy up because she's just amazing. And let's bring her up on the screen. Hey, Joy.
Am I on the screen? I'm doing great. How are you tonight?
I am well. So, of course, Joy, you've been on the show a few times now, and it is so good to have you back with us because, like I said, you are back by popular demand, and it's great to have you back, especially during these tough times of where we just had the solar eclipse, last week? So lots of energy flowing around. And so, you know what, Joy? If you would, what's your take on, or what was your take on the solar eclipse?
Well, it certainly brought up all my stuff, and I'm sure it did for a lot of people. It was, you know what it felt like? I'm not an astrologer or anything like that, so all I did was, like many of us, just read what was out there. But I can share what I felt. And the 2 weeks in between the two, the lunar and the solar eclipse, I was so exhausted. I mean, I could hardly get out of bed. And I didn't realize it until afterwards, and I started to feel better. And I realized that must, I guess, all... we've all read the articles. That's going to bring up all our stuff. That was an intense 2-week period. So for those that went through and are still going through this, there's some huge stuff coming up for people right now. And know that the energies are very intense right now. Like they're getting more and more intense, and especially between these two eclipses. And then we've got, every year, we've got the change with fall coming, kids going back to school. So my suggestion for people is to let go of resisting it. because the more we, the saying, what we resist persists. And I'm not saying necessarily welcome. Yeah, so Sonia, feeling grateful right now. Feel grateful for identify what you can feel grateful for. And I'm going to do a clearing on this tonight because I've been wanting to do it. So this is a perfect opportunity, Donna, to do a clearing. There's so much going on in the world. There's so much tragedy, and we can let it overwhelm us. And so I'm going to go in, for a few minutes and just clear what we're all picking up on, release a little bit of that.
Absolutely. Please do. Because like you said, I'm sure, we're all feeling that, and a lot was going on. So yeah, let's do it for sure. I'm just going to put you on the big screen, so it's all you, Joy.
Okay. Do you want me to do it now or the
Sure, let's do it. Let's dive into it.
Okay. So everybody just relax. You don't have to do anything if you haven't experienced the clearings with me before. You don't have to do anything, just relax. And okay, there's some fear of what's going to happen. So my guides are going to release what's coming up. If you're not feeling comfortable with releasing something, it simply isn't released. Source knows whether you're ready to release something or not. First thing that's coming up is it's anticipation, but it's terror and anticipation at the same time, meaning there's been so many changes. Okay, some people are saying, there's a lot of conflict going on. How can it get any worse, and how can it get any better? So let's clear out there's a grasping energy, wanting to hold on to what is instead of just going with the flow. So let's go ahead and clear out this grasping energy. Like I said, you don't just allow it to be cleared. If you're not ready to clear it, that's fine. Okay, anxiety's coming up. So often we'll hold on to something in order because we feel safe holding on to what is and what we know. So when we release that, anxiety comes up. That's what's coming up. Let's release this anxiety. And okay, so there's a feeling of vulnerability coming up now and not feeling safe. I'm only safe as long as everything stays the same. So this is where I mentioned resistance. So let's go ahead and clear that out. I'm only safe as long as everything stays the same. Because I think we all know there's a lot of change going on right now. Take a deep breath in. Let that go. Okay, there's anger coming up. There's anger, and at the same time, I can feel several people wanting to grab it back down because they believe anger is bad. Yet when anger gets stuck within us, it creates a stagnant feeling, a heaviness, and not quite a numbness, but it's almost like moving through quicksand. So let's go ahead and release this anger and create an opening for healthy ways to release anger to be presented to you. Fear of being overwhelmed by anger, clearing that out. There's a fear, not a fear of feeling different. So feeling different, not fitting in because you feel different. Because most people, aren't into personal growth and, awakening, consciousness. And so there's a us versus them mentality going on. So then we stay in our little world. Okay, there's some isolation. Let's clear out the need to isolate. The feeling of being different. Take a deep breath in. There's anxiety coming up, and especially in the hearts. The heart is always love, but there's some anxiety lodged in the heart chakra. Let's clear this out. Releasing that. The throat, now as energy rises, the throat gets blocked. And this is a fear of stepping into your power, speaking your truth. There's a fear of stepping into your power and speaking your truth for fear of being shamed, humiliated, ridiculed, judged. Being different and being judged for it. Let's clear that out. Okay, there's a belief that if I speak my truth, it will always lead to conflict. So then what happens is we speak our truth. If we have that belief, if I speak my truth, it always leads to conflict. We hold an energy of almost aggression then, because we're expecting conflict. We're expecting to be attacked. Okay, speaking my truth always leads to conflict and or attack. Let's clear that out. Being different leaves me open for ridicule, judgment, shame, humiliation, and it makes me a target. We'll clear that out. Okay, we're going to ask Archangel Michael to infuse all who are watching this, whether live or on the replay, with the frequency of courage. And the reason we are being asked to step into our courage at this time is because the world needs more of the way showers, the light workers, needs more people stepping into the power of love and being that love and light. That is what's going to bring us all together. So we're going to bring in the element of safety, feeling safe while living as the power of love. Okay, there's some, the word power, there's some agitation coming up around that. And the belief that power and love do not go together. So let's clear that out. And bring in a connection to divine love, spiritual love, the love of our Creator. Breathe in that love, which is beautiful, divine, blissful love. Imagine all the hearts connecting, all 7.5 billion people opening their heart and connecting through a space of love, whether it comes from, yes, there are some people in the world that are so closed, it's not going to happen. However, their higher self is always willing to connect through the heart. Let's connect all these hearts and embrace the power of divine love. Take a deep breath in and let that go. Okay, it's coming up. This is too easy. So let's clear that out. This is too easy. It has to be harder than this. Life is hard. This is hard work. It has to be harder than this. Let's clear that out. Choosing to do things the hard way rather than allowing them to be easy, clearing that out. Okay, there's a belief coming in that I only deserve what I have worked really, 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 really hard for. So let's clear that out. And I can only feel a sense of accomplishment and achievement as long as I've worked really hard for it. If it comes too easy, I don't deserve it, and I certainly won't feel a sense of achievement. So we'll clear that. And bring in the frequency of ease and flow, allowing, and open up to receiving. Receiving love, receiving abundance, receiving money, receiving fun, receiving laughter, receiving inspiration, receiving prosperity, receiving support, activating receiving, activating receiving, expanding the willingness to receive. Okay, we're all being blessed. I just felt a blessing come in. This is for anybody who wishes. It's not necessary to be live. Open up to this energy of blessing, a divine blessing. Okay, purple is coming in right now. And yellow. And the yellow is, that's courage. That's what we asked for. That is courage. It's for your solar plexus. That's your personal power. Okay, take a deep breath in. Let that go. And there you go.
Nice.
Okay.
Wow. That was very powerful. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Good. Yeah, you just seem all zenned out and relaxed now.
I know, right? So, Joy, you hit on something, and I know it's elementary for me to even bring this up, but I always feel like, and maybe that's the reason why I need to bring it up, because I feel like I need to keep bringing it up, so I keep bringing it up. Mm-hmm. And that is the feeling of this is easy, the ease of this. But why is it that we just can't get with that? Why do you think?
I think well, first of all, things are changing so rapidly now that trying to keep up with, the energy changes and everything, the changes in vibration and consciousness. But you think, Donna, for thousands of years, really, we've done things more or less the same way.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, in the past 50 years, 20, 30 years, there's been huge shifts. And so we're still stuck in the old ways of doing things, and yet everything has shifted. And that's where I'm seeing the disparity. So we've grown up, and many of us grew up with learning to do things the hard way. Or we've learned this is how it's done. And it's like, I was just talking to you before the show about tech stuff. And I know it could be way easier than my mind makes it. But I just find that, I know I do that one the hard way. And so that has a lot to do with conditioning. And like I said on the clearing, many of us, myself included, will get a sense of achievement from doing it the hard way. So I used to, because I remember saying to myself this, remember the moment. I needed to prove to myself that I could survive. So, having gone through 2 bankruptcies, lived on very, very little at times, it was finally when I got through that, a lot of that was, I had to prove to myself that I could survive. So this would happen, or I'd get, millimeters away from being on the street, something would come through and it's like, once again, I can breathe, I can survive. And I'd done that for a lot of years. That was a pattern. So it's also about giving, like for myself and others, giving ourselves permission to allow it to be easy.
Yes.
So that's a big one. And anybody who's listening, give yourself permission to allow it to be easy. Because when you do that, you create a space, because we've got, we've all got the energy field around us. When you say, okay, I'm ready, I'm willing for it to be easy. It doesn't mean everything's going to shift all at once, but you create that space for, opportunities to start to come in, different things to start to come in.
Right. Right. So, ease and grace. What do we need to do? for us to remember that, remember who we are, remember that we are ease, grace, love. What do we need to do?
Well, it's not doing, it's being.
Okay.
So always choosing, and yeah, we forget, we're human, but choosing, and I know you're all about this, Donna, choosing love. You know, just go back and choose love and keep choosing love. And even hearing me talk about love feels weird because I didn't grow up in really a loving environment. And in fact, I used to ask myself, what is love? Like really, what is love?
What is love?
And I was trying to, qualify love and quantify it. And now, so for me to talk about love, I'm like, I'm talking about love? Like I'm the last person. But it's that state, yes, of grace and choosing, okay, I could choose to be bitter about this or resentful but is it serving me? No, I'm going to choose love. Because if you're truly on the path of expansion and supporting humanity, what's going to support humanity is raising the vibration.
Yes.
Imagine if everybody came from a place of love. Or even if, what is it, 3% or 5% or 10% of the people in the world came from a place of love. I think the tipping point is something like 11%.
Wow.
And then, so it's not, we don't have to get to 50%.
Right.
We only have to get to something. Yeah, it's pretty low, 11%. So
that's doable.
If there's, that's doable. So that's why, like one person says, well, I'm one person. What difference can I make? Choose a higher vibration. Yes, we do tend to make life hard and put all these obstacles in our way. If we can simply, what's a higher vibration? What is going to bring light to me and to others? Imagine if, more and more people simply went, what's a higher vibration? Okay, I'm upset with this person, I'm right, I know I'm right, I know I'm right, I have all the proof I'm right, and I'm upset and it should be my way, and I can prove all this, evidence and everything else. But that feels heavy. Ooh. What if I just let it go and I chose love? And just allowed myself to be in that state of love. Because when you choose, and it doesn't have to be love, it can be happiness or joy or whatever a person, higher vibration. And when we choose that, we create the space for opportunities. We create the space for energy to move and opportunities to come to us and to see things in a new way. It's a new light. At the same time, and this is most people go, oh, okay, I have to be loved and blissed out and walk around with a, smile on my face when I'm really angry and, yes, not happy.
Yes.
And I'm suggesting acknowledge those, okay, I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm feeling anxious. I talk to my anxiety. When stuff comes up, I'm like, oh, anxiety, you're back, are you? What do you want now? Okay, I acknowledge you. I see you. No, you go away for a while. And now it's just so brief now. But yeah, I will, very first step to releasing your emotions, anger is acknowledging. Because I will see that in the clearings. I'm just following the ego mind and I'll just we'll have a conversation with the consciousness. And when I start to acknowledge, anger or the looping or something, it starts to release simply by being acknowledged. Well, we can each do that. If we're sitting there and feeling down or depressed or whatever, just say, you know what, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling depressed, I feel like if I take action, while anxiety's coming up, I'm terrified. Okay, well, I feel that way. Well, let's go ahead and do something anyways.
Yes.
Because then you've acknowledged it. Because what most people do is they run away or they hide from it or avoid or go numb.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, and I think the whole going numb, because, I was thinking about that. And, I had a situation where the person visibly upset me. And I chose not to say anything. But then, because I thought that would be the, let me keep the peace type of a thing. And so I chose not to say anything, but later on, I came back and I was just so, I was just like, oh, just seething. So what's the best way? Because I guess in that moment, I consciously did not choose love. I chose to be silent.
I'm glad you brought that up.
We have that going on now. There's a lot of stuff going on. And for folks who don't know, Joy is in Canada. And so she's, you see the stuff that's going on in the United States. But I mean, if we're being silent, we're not being, the ones that are out there against everything that's going on, but we're being silent about it. But the anger is still there. We haven't chosen love, have we?
It's a great question, great topic. Something I deal with all the time. Well, I think we all do. And like I said, choose love. But if you're choosing, so you had this situation with this person and you walked away in order to keep peace. But you walked away. What it feels like is you shut yourself down.
Exactly.
So instead of standing in your power.
Yes.
And you went, okay, I have to keep the peace, so let's not create conflict, and walked away. And that's more like avoidance than choosing love. In that case, like there are times, what was it? Something with a client. I can't remember what it was. Or, something that was going on on Facebook with one of my Facebook friends. And I was reading her comments, and she said, I just want to, replying to the comments, different comments, I just want to keep the peace and, I don't want to cause trouble and that. And I replied and I'm saying, there are times you get angry. There are times you step into your power, and this is one of them. Because what they did was, it was quite a violation. But I said there's avenue, and she knew that. She knew there are avenues to go through. And so how do we, with what's going on right now, how do we stand up? Well, I can say for myself, like there's sometimes I'll feel, especially around animals. I see some of the stuff that goes on with animals and I can feel helpless. What we can do is bring them into that space of love. Like for me to go out in anger and strike out and comment on Facebook and this and that just keeps everything tied up in anger and blame, and nothing moves. Mm-hmm. My whole, say with animals that are abused, because that can be a real trigger for me when I see something like that. And so I used to get angry, like most people, get angry. And I'm using this as just an example. And I would hate on the person that was the abuser, and I would get angry, and that was the energy I was putting out. But doesn't that seem like the thing to do? Like it's wrong.
Right.
And I listened to an animal communicator once, and it was audio I found on her, and she was talking about the animals don't want you to get angry or to hate on the person that's abusing them, because they said that keeps them stuck in that energy of hate and anger, and they can never free themselves from it. What they want is compassion. But it's not like we can have compassion for the animals and anger for the people. In other words, she said, have compassion for the entire situation. Unless, these are my words now, unless you know the legal avenues to take and you can actually take, legal, then have compassion for the whole situation. It's like, I've done this with my family, we all have family stuff going on. And there was some anger at different family members, but it was just staying stuck. I was losing sleep over this. I was so stressed over it. Finally, I realized the only way this was going to be released was if I saw compassion coming from all parties that were involved, and just saw their hearts connecting, saw the compassion, and sure enough, it has changed, like the family situation. But what that animal communicator said always stuck with me, because the animals, she communicates with animals and she's well known. And she said it's the animals want you to, come from a place of compassion for the entire situation.
Wow.
So if something's going on, say, around the world and most people's response is tragedies happening all over, and we get into either, fear, what if it happens to us, or, horrified, that's so terrible, and how can that happen, and those poor people, what's going to happen now? And that's, the normal response, but it keeps them stuck. Like when you look at this from a place of vibration, that vibration keeps them stuck. In other words, have empathy for what they're going through and see the whole situation with compassion, including, and I know this is hard for people, I can feel resistance, like even me saying these words, the person who has committed the whatever it is. Because otherwise, we've all heard the saying, those that are hardest to love need it the most. Mm-hmm. And yet those that are hardest to love are some that we want, the last person we would want to show love or compassion to. Now, if you know the legal avenues to take, or you know what actions to take, and you're not taking them, that's different. But I'm talking about if something happens and you don't have the money or the resources or the support or the knowledge to know how to take action that can actually change the situation, what you can do is come from a place of compassion. See hearts opening up, literally. Like that person. I remember when I was in counselor training, the instructor saying, this is going to trigger some people, the murderer lives in all of us.
Ooh, that's true though.
Yeah. And what my instructor was saying, he said, for you to really be a good counselor and to really understand what the other person is going through, it's necessary to realize that if you are pushed far enough, you can do anything.
That's true.
And now they've got their reasons for whatever they've done. And it's not about excusing it at all. But unless you can go out and actually take action to change the situation, sitting at home and hating on somebody, and I'm not perfect, believe me, but hating on somebody or being angry about the situation or saying, you poor thing, it just doesn't help energetically.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So animals, when you said that about animals, where they want us to see the compassion all around, they are truly unconditional. I think about animals and I think about how loving they are, and how truly they are unconditional pets. I mean, our animals are truly unconditional. And that's
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that is a tough one. That is tough because you are correct. We are all can be put in that position of harming someone, because we can be pushed, to that limit. We could be pushed past our limits, and then we can do that.
Yeah. And I mean, and I remember this animal communicator saying, the animals are here. The reason they're here overall is to teach the human race compassion.
Oof.
She said they could easily turn on us and revolt.
True. And
she said, but they don't. They choose not to.
Wow.
It's a pretty fascinating show she did. And she said, but they choose not to. And because they're here to teach us about compassion.
Wow.
So animals can teach us so much.
That is a good thing to remember. You are absolutely right. Because you're right. They could turn on us, but they don't. Huh.
Exactly.
I've never thought of that.
Yeah. So do we have any questions if anybody wants to write in any questions or, have any clearing, or we can continue talking. I like to clear.
Right. Well, let's definitely clear. We don't have questions just yet. And I just need to go back and put like a little posting and say, hey, bring us your questions or
Okay.
your wants, your clearings. Um, and I,
Actually, I just heard some people asking for money, like money cleared. So
yeah,
I could, yeah.
let's
So,
clear money issues.
okay. Okay, so we're just going to do a little bit here on money, and there's never enough. So let's go ahead and start with, first of all, anybody who's listening to this, feel into your money situation. How much money, whether it comes a little bit at a time and then all but once, or if you've got a regular check coming every month or a job, or you have absolutely no idea where your money is coming from right now. Okay, there's a lot of anxiety coming up, and it doesn't matter how much money you've got. There's never enough. This anxiety and never enough, they're literally anchored to each other. So we're going to ask, so call it the creator, you call it God or Buddha or whoever you want, divine love, to clear that out. This not having enough money is one of the big causes that people are feeling so unsafe right now and threatened, because we live in a society that needs money. So, okay, the word just came in, support. So this is about when we can learn to support each other, fear of running out of money will not be a fear. That's a message I'm getting. Okay. Some people just said, okay, well, that's great. How do we get there? Okay. Appreciate what you do have. Even if it's teeny, you don't know how you're going to, buy food the next day. Appreciate what you have in the moment. That's a message that's coming through very clearly. One of the ways I start is with appreciating my body. And I mean, I was like many people, I did not like, I had a hate on for my body. I did not like, you sit in front of the mirror and go, ooh, kind of thing. I don't do that anymore because I learned maybe I don't love my body, but I certainly appreciate it. And so what you're doing when you appreciate your body is you're getting the energy of appreciation within your energy field. And when that expands to other things. And I can feel some people saying, I'm not going to appreciate my body. And then I do this with my clients, and I'm so passionate about this. Can you appreciate your eyes for giving you sight? Can you appreciate your ears for giving you hearing? Can you appreciate your nose and your nostrils because you can breathe? Can you appreciate your teeth, your mouth, your lips for being able to taste, to chew food? Can you appreciate your joints because they're flexible? Yeah, they might not flex as much as when you were a little kid, or there might even be a little pain. There's still flexibility in them. Appreciate your joints, appreciate your feet because look at the pounding they take every day. You're walking on them every day. Appreciate your tire, appreciate your skin. Could you imagine what, life would be like without your skin? Appreciate your skin. It seems simple. Appreciate your body. I can feel the energy changing simply by talking about appreciation. When you appreciate your body, because it's not like we look solid. We look like we're solid matter. We're energy, we're energetic beings. Everything is energy. Energy is, it's all one. So when you can start to appreciate anything in your life, whether it's your body or anything else, or the food you have in your cupboard, or a can of beans, whatever it is, when you appreciate that, that expands. And as that expands, I can literally feel the money worries just dissipating. So let's just bring that in. Let's activate appreciation for your body, appreciating for what you do have, appreciation, expanding appreciation. Okay, there's some anger coming up at the same time. Let's release the anger. There's anger at never having enough, and there's anger at those who told you you're never going to amount to much. There's anger at those who said, you don't have what it takes. Who do you think you are? You're never going to amount to much. So let's bring up this anger. Let's acknowledge this anger. Acknowledge it and step into the power of this anger, because anger can be very powerful. So feel the power of this. Feel the power of this and allow the power of this to open your world, expand your world, and bring opportunities in, and appreciate that. Okay, we're focusing on appreciation, and interesting, the words are coming in. These have never come in before. Power of anger. Power of love, but this is the power of anger. So this is almost like reframing anger from being something bad and destructive and either harming others or overpowering me, to supporting you with reclaiming your personal power and stepping into your power. Breathe that in. Breathe in that feeling of power. Okay. Direct your chakras to open, all your energy centers to open. Ensure that your crown chakra at the top of your head is open. All you need to open, like little doors, just, opening. And then see a pillar of light and love flowing in through the top of your head, all the way through your body, and it's clearing and strengthening as it goes down, all the way down your body, down your legs, and out through your open feet chakras, and grounding you right into the earth, into that powerful, strong earth. And then that powerful, grounding, strong earth energy flows up your feet, up your legs, cleansing and strengthening as it goes along. Feel the strength of that grounding earth energy flowing up, all the way up, out through the top of your head, and connecting you to the heavens, to the power of the Creator. So you've got the power and the groundedness of the earth, and the power and the freeing, the lightness of the heavens, anchoring you in, anchoring in that power. Breathe that in, and just let that go. There you go.
That was awesome. And of course, I am taking that in. With everyone as well. So pretty awesome.
That was amazing how as we brought in appreciation, just something as simple as appreciating, even your hands, reaching your arm out, grabbing a glass or, have a drink of water or something, just appreciating that, the energy just shifted. And then we moved into power. Like there was all the money worries just dissipated. And it was just, wow, that was powerful. Yeah.
That was powerful.
Yeah. So.
Wow. Well, I'm hoping that a lot of folks felt that energy shift, and I felt it. So, of course, you can go back and listen to the replay. You can do that over and over and over again, because
absolutely,
it's here, and all that information is here for you to take in. And because it is recorded, it's always there for you. So you can always take this, and you can always come back to it, I guess is what I just really need to say. You can always come back to this. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that will trigger that whole, remembering to appreciate, to be grateful, to appreciate, be grateful, all the time. And especially when we get stuck in that fear place.
Yeah, and we all do. We all do. That's part of being human. Do you still have the special offer up on your website?
I do.
Okay. Because they can also go there to your website and if they want a scanner clearing or one-on-one session, that's available too. But there's a chakra program. So and they're 20 minutes or more, each mm-hmm. chakra. And then there's 3 or 4 bonuses. There's a specific mother and father. Then there's a money clearing. I think those are the bonuses. Yeah, there's a lot of clearing in that package, right. or just the clearings on the show here.
That's correct. You're right. Because the 3 clearing bonuses, releasing mother, releasing father, money clearing, and activation. So Yes, those are the bonuses. And then, of course, you can choose your packages and do the one-on-one sessions. So that's pretty powerful. And the beautiful things about the specials, for those of you who have never had a clearing from Joy, the clearings, especially if you do that personal session, that is a personal one-on-one session with you. You can look at package C, get that package, do that one-on-one clearing, and then have that, because it comes as an MP3. And so again, you have that to go back through and through and through. I don't know about some of y'all, and if you've experienced, anytime you're doing the work, things come up, and when you are committed to doing the work, things absolutely come up for you. And sometimes those things are a bit painful. I do remember doing one of your clearings, and I was like, my throat was tightening up. And but I had to put it down for the moment, but I came back and had to, okay, let me do the work, let me do the work, let me do the work. And but it's great because you have that MP3 that you can go back to and keep doing the work so you can finish the work. And one of the things that I talked about, Joy, and you can tell me your take on this, but on a couple of weeks ago on the show, and I had Laura on, and we talked about finding a healer, an energy healer that you're comfortable with, and sticking with that healer. And so that you're not doing well, let me get something from this person, and let me get something from that person, and let me get something over here. And you're just kind of all over the place with different modalities and things. But have you found, Joy, in your work that being able to work with a client one-on-one, for a length of time really helps them to kind of stay focused and stay in it, because we all tend to want to escape when the going gets tough. You're like, oh, well, I don't need to do that anymore. But sticking with that particular healer and really getting the work done. Have you found with the work that you do with others that's really helpful for folks when they can just stick with you and do the work that you guys are working on rather than bouncing all over the place?
Yeah, that makes such a difference. When I love it when people, really go deep. I've got some clients now, actually weekly ones that have been with me now since February. And it's amazing how deep we can go. And they think they're done. And yet you can just find these little things, like you start, talking to the ego and the consciousness, and it's amazing what we can find out. And I've got one client who she's noticed with two different people how, because I'll work with, I'll see the energetics between two people or, several. And how she said, like, almost immediately, well, right after that she listens to the clearing, she'll meet them again, and the energy's different. Yeah. And like she said, it happens so fast. Like, she's just amazed how quickly, because people, when you're not resonating, you're not vibrating, you're not putting out anxiety or anger, I expect you to abandon me or ignore me or this or that, or I expect you to be aggressive with me. When you're no longer resonating with that, they're not going to align with that. So their behavior is going to automatically shift. And I love working with somebody like over a period of time, and because it's just amazing where we can go. And I've done, when I got in this, I actually stayed with one speaker for about 15 years. And there's a couple other people I followed in there as well. And then mostly, I'm not much for jumping from healer to healer, because it gets too confusing and conflicting. I think it's very important, if you've got somebody you feel comfortable with, and you feel at ease with, like you're resonating and you feel safe, that's the biggest thing. Make sure you're working with somebody that you feel safe with. Then, yeah, stay with them for a little bit. And it doesn't have to be months or years, but stay with them, at least for a little bit. And because you can go quite deep. Yeah. You've got a cat behind you. I could see this little bit of fur every now and then the cat finally, yeah. When it comes to animals, I spot them right away. Oh, there's a cat.
Yes, that is Macy. But yes, and I think you're absolutely right, Joy. It is important to be able to build that rapport. Of course, I mean, if the rapport is not there, the rapport is not there.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, if you can build and work with that person, when the rapport is there and you work with that person, then you're able to go even deeper, because that person is going to challenge you. To go deeper. You have challenged me on several occasions to go deeper and to like breathe and stick with it. And, and so I can attest, of course, to your work and how sticking with your modalities and how that has really done wonders.
Right.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. And you know what? Let me just bring up Georgia's question or her comment. And I have to see that on the big screen because I surely can't see that on the little one. Let's see here. I thought it would pop up on my big screen here.
Oh, it's on my screen.
Can you see it? Because I'm like, I can't read that.
Other people should be able to. Yeah, she's done a lot of work with me. I've done, several clearings for her and such, and she's shifted a lot.
Yes. So she's saying it's popped up on the big screen where I can read it and not hurt myself here. She's saying Joy's clearings are so very powerful. If you resonate, give yourself the gift of joy. That is so true. Her work keeps on giving as every time you listen, another layer goes. Very awesome. That's absolutely correct. And I agree with you, Georgia, on that, because every time you do the work with joy, it goes deep, and you're able to clear. So
anybody if you've ever said, sorry, Donna, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I've just got a train of thought going here. If you've ever said, why do I keep doing this? How come this keeps happening to me? How come people keep treating me this way? You feel stuck or anything like that. In the clearings, scan and clearing, patterns are revealed to us, that like patterns, ways of being, core beliefs. If you don't have enough money, not enough, like there's not enough in your life of something, you're running, I'm not enough. That's a core belief. I'm not enough. If you're not receiving, chances are you're feeling not worthy. So the scan is all about looking at your energy field, going through all the chakras, seeing, any core patterns, beliefs in that. And then the clearing, so there's two audios. The clearing is we just go right in and clear that all out. And until, depends, 30, 40, 50 minutes on the clearing, until basically I'm guided that the person is done for that clearing, and you come to a place of love.
Yes.
And I just want to mention, I had one woman I worked with. She only had one session with me, and her son was married to somebody who the marriage had fallen apart. They had a little boy, and I believe she got quite bitter. So this would be their daughter-in-law. Her daughter-in-law got quite bitter, and she wouldn't let the grandparents see their grandson anymore. She was devastated, and my client was, and she went, unfriended them on Facebook, no text, no phone calls, like no contact. And they hadn't seen their grandson in the past year. So he would have been, when I worked with my client, the grandson would have been 2 at that time. She was upset about this. So we had a session and I looked at the dynamics specifically between her and her daughter-in-law. And we cleared that up, so we got some balance, some flow going in there. I saw her 2 weeks later. She said 10 days after the session, her daughter-in-law friended her, sent her a friend request on Facebook, called her, sent her a text, and had open up visitation rights. So they were starting to see their grandson. And it had been a year. She had cut them right off. And it happened within 10 days of the session. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's very cool. Absolutely. And, moving that energy around is very powerful. Joy, I know we're running out of time, but I just had a question, and that just popped up in my mind. So for anyone who makes a comment, and you can see their pictures, not that we need to do anything about it, but when you can see their pictures, are you able to, scan them when you see anyone's picture?
You mean just now, if a comment comes up?
Well, for sure when a comment comes up, but because in your packages you have them send a picture of themselves,
right?
And but if someone had a question and wanted to do a general scan, would you be able to do that?
Like right now?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you have to have permission?
So
Only if they had a question. If they had a question that they
well, I would just tap into I would just tap into their energy and just see what's going on, whether I've got their picture or not. It's so tiny anyways. But yeah, it would just be their energy. It wouldn't be like the scan I do, because you've seen the full scan. Sometimes it's 20 minutes and you might not want that personal information shared, but, oh, is that what yes, I don't know if somebody would want that kind of a personal info. So what I'll do is, say it was you. I'm not going to do a scan on you because, it is personal, but we'll look at your energy field and just say, so just your general energy field.
I have a willing participant here. If she pops in, can you do Cassandra?
I could, when I do the scan, the way we do the scan is I will actually connect, so I've got the picture in front of me, we'll connect to the energy, and I actually write down notes. So I go through it first and write down, notes and that, and then I record that. So the scan is a little bit left and right brain, and then the clearing is just, real time, whatever comes up. So.
Or can you tap into someone's energy?
It'd be more tapping into the energy, and I wouldn't be comfortable sharing something. Was it Sonia? What was her name there? She just said me, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just popped her on.
Okay. So she's saying okay? She's okay with me doing a little bit here?
She's saying me.
Okay, so, there's some guilt that's keeping her stuck. So let's go ahead and clearing out the guilt and shame. Hi, Cassie.
Hi.
So we're just going to look. Is it Sony? Is that how you say your name, Sony?
I think it is Sony.
Okay. So there's some guilt and shame about something that happened a long time ago that we're working on Sony right now. That is, she actually feels a little bit horrified that I identified the guilt and shame. Okay, so Sony, do you want to keep holding on to this? She's conflicted. I need to keep paying. Oh, ouch, that hurt. I need to keep paying for that. So whatever happened in the past, there's guilt and shame about. You believe you need to keep paying for that. So what does no mean? Maybe she doesn't want me to go ahead with this. Let's clear out this guilt and pain. That's pretty general anyways. A lot of us have it. Okay, I'll wait till she replies. Okay. I want to let it go. Okay. Okay, so she's ready. Okay, so whatever you're feeling the guilt and shame about, and anybody else who's listening, you go ahead and release. If you're ready, release the guilt and shame along with this. Okay, we're going to release any, it's like a debt. You believe you need to pay the debt. You have to keep paying whatever happened, whether it was your fault or not. It's not about right or wrong. It's about, it's time to release that. And release, Sony, it's time to release yourself from having to punish yourself from whatever happened. That happened for a reason. You're being asked to look at the bigger picture. You're being asked to look at the bigger purpose. You've been looking at this situation from a very human level. You're being asked to tap into your intuitive wisdom and be shown a bigger picture. And the shame and guilt is no longer serving you. So we're going to ask the higher beings to release this guilt and shame in its entirety throughout all time, space, lifetimes, dimensions, and consciousness, and also release anybody else who had anything to do with this and is keeping you stuck and attached to this guilt and shame. Okay, there's a fear of freedom coming in. So as you release yourself from the guilt and shame, you're fearing the expansiveness. If I feel too expansive and free, I could get hurt. It's not safe. Okay, so the message is baby steps, even if it's a tiny, tiny, tiny baby step. Something where, some kind of action. That opened you right up. That opened up your second chakra. I can feel the energies moving there. Okay, and so repeat after me, and anybody else who wants to repeat as well. I am worthy. I am enough. I have value. I am loved. I appreciate myself. And I know I am enough. I am safe. I am supported. I choose to know and trust that I am supported. I know I am worthy. I know I am enough. I know I have value. I am whole and I am complete. I am worthy and I am enough. And so it is. Okay, there you go. There you go, Sony and everybody else.
That's awesome.
Okay. Cassie, did you want me to do a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you sure you want me to go ahead?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So, there's a lot of anger coming up. And, okay, I think you know where that's coming from, who the anger's about. So, I'm not going to name names. So let's go ahead and release this anger. And, oh, you don't want to release this anger. This anger makes you feel, it's almost a self-righteous anger. So it makes you feel like you're right. So would you rather be right or would you rather be happy, Cassie?
Happy.
Okay. Okay, so your higher self wants to be happy. Your ego mind that wants to keep you stuck and keep everything the same wants to be right. So we're going to ask the ego mind to stop playing its little games with you. It's playing little games to keep you stuck, little mind games. And so, okay, so the ego's feeling threatened. This goes for everybody because often our ego feels threatened when we change. So let's just everybody just tell your ego mind. This is your conditioning. So it's your unconscious conditioned ego mind. Just let your ego mind know that it's safe. So Cassie, just let your ego mind know that it's safe, and it's safe to let go of the need to be right. And it's safe to move into freedom, abundance, expansion. Okay, there's a lot of fear coming up. If I'm not if I'm not right, then if I'm not right, I'm putting myself in danger. So I need to be right. We're going to clear this out throughout all time, space, lifetimes, dimensions, and consciousness, because this also for your ancestors, for any family members that choose to, and also ancestors. We're clearing that out. This is causing a lot of problems in the world. The need, if I'm not right, then that puts me in a dangerous position and I'm unsafe. So people are fighting to be right. So there's a lot of fighting, arguing, conflict going on. So it's happening, you know, we're working with you right now, Cassie, but it's happening on a global level as well. I am only safe when I am right. We'll clear that. Any need to grasp onto being right and the belief that that keeps you safe, go ahead and release that. Two, we're going to activate, for all who are listening, happiness. And the decision to choose happiness over being right. Let's expand happiness. I can feel hearts opening right now. Expand happiness, activate happiness. Allow happiness to flourish. And integrate the decision. It's always your choice. You always have free will. So I want everybody to know you have free will at all times. But, or at least the knowing that you can choose happiness over being right. Because you've believed, and Cassie as well, you've believed that I have to choose being right because that's how I stay safe. And I want to make it a choice. So yes, you can still choose being right, but you can also choose being happy now. So, okay, so that means, what that means is you can let go of the anger, because the anger was all about being right. But you don't need the anger anymore because you don't need to be right, because you're saying, I choose happiness. So what's going to make me happy? So then you ask yourself, what makes me happy? Well, feeling free, light, easy, that makes me feel happy. Well, am I living in such a way? Or at least, because sometimes we have to make choices that maybe don't, really make us feel really happy in that. I know I lived that way for a lot of times. I took jobs that I really didn't want, but I had to pay the bills. But I kept moving towards a life that was going to make me happier and happier, even if it was a choice as rather than getting angry at somebody or feeling, self-righteous or whatever. I went, you know what, doesn't matter. I choose happiness instead. So, yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice. Yes. So, well, I hope for anyone who's watching, and of course, watching the replay, that this has helped you as well, because you can always take these clearings and apply them and open yourself up and open and so that you can release some, there's, like you said, there's a lot of anxiety, a lot of need to be right, which is, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Joy, talking about everyone needing to be right. And I'm sure folks from around the world are watching the United States. I know what's happening in other places, but I get to speak to the United States, and where we are, everyone wants to be right at this time, and no one is listening to, one another. So it's
Right.
this is a time of healing. And I like what you said earlier, that we need about, 11% of us.
I think that was the number. I could be wrong, but I remember like you being really like, that's all really?
Right.
You'd think it was like, okay, we need 50% to be at the tipping point. It was like, yeah, just something. It might have been higher, but it was pretty low numbers. So.
It was less than
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
Yes. Well, we've gone over time for sure, but real quick, let's go over, I will pop up the specials here, and just to read them off for folks, because you've got your packages. You've got 3 packages, package A, B, and C. Package A is the chakra balancing program, plus 3 bonuses. So the chakra package A is going to clear your chakras 1 through 7. Plus, you get the bonus of the releasing mother, releasing father. And when I say releasing mother and releasing father, of course, that is releasing all of that gunk between you two. And then, of course, the money clearing also goes with that for package A. Package B is you get package A plus 3 bonus clearings and your personalized scan and clearing. So that's A and B for package B. Package C is going to include all 3, plus you are going to get your specialized scan and clearing, and something I did with Joy was the one-on-one, the EFT session, which I found, yes,
yeah.
EFT.
The tapping, yeah.
The tapping, and which I found to be very, very, very helpful. So those 3 packages, they are available on the website, also on the online store. You can get those, and that will also be something that's, you know, folks can tune into, and you can do some one-on-one work with Joy and work with her. And again, you know, we kind of touched on it tonight about working with, you know, the healer, working with one healer to get those issues cleared out, not hopping all over the place. Of course, you can do what you want, but just saying. So, Joy, any last words that you want to say to folks?
What comes in is just a reminder to acknowledge your feeling. Acknowledge what you're feeling. Can you hear that too? Okay, nope. Okay, there was a double voice. My voice was going twice, but if you can't hear that, that's fine. Yeah, just to acknowledge what you're feeling. You know, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling happy, angry, and know that when life, we all have cycles. You know, nature has a cycle. Everything moves in cycles. If you're not feeling good, you're going through a tough time, it will end and things will get better. And then remember not to, because I can feel some clutching, not to clutch onto the good times. You know, let the flow, let it all flow, and stay in a place of compassion. Most of all, though, everybody, have compassion for yourself first. Have compassion for yourself, because you need to have it within yourself first, and then you can really share it with others. So start with yourself. If that's one thing I was going to say, start with yourself. Know that you have value, you are worthy, you are enough, and build that relationship with your inner self and have compassion for yourself.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely. There it is, folks. All righty. I'm going to close this out, and I want to say thank you for Joy for being on the show again with us tonight. We so appreciate when you come back and ask questions. So Joy, thank you for that. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. And I want to say to everyone, thank you for being a part of the Peace, Love, Joy, and Bliss Transformation Show. And we are here on Tuesday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So we'll see you next Tuesday. Good night, everyone.
Ciao.
Ciao.